Yes, fight fans, this is Body and Mind Sports. Welcome. You are fully appreciated if you are here for another session of boxing talk. And this round, I'm going to be talking about an upcoming fight in the lightweight division. And it is between, well, let me tell you the date first. Is set to happen on the 8th of November and is going to be between none other than one of the most talked about prospects in boxing currently in Keyshawn Davis, and he's facing none other than Gustavo Lemos, who we know has given Richardson Hitchins one of the toughest one of his toughest fights of his career so far. So starting with Keyshawn Davis, Keyshawn is 25 years old, has 11 great wins under his record. 7 of those wins coming via KO, has 0 losses and 0 draws, so he's definitely an undefeated fighter. Some of his top wins include his win over Nahir Albright, I believe, was the biggest test of Keyshawn's career so far. Albright managing to rock Keyshawn Davis in their fight. That fight proved to me that Keyshawn not only has deliverable skills, very top tier skills in the boxing ring, but also has a jaw behind it, a good chin behind it. Another great win for Keyshawn recently was over 2 division champ in Jose Petraza. I think you could call Petraza a boxing veteran now, although he is still very active at age 36. Although not in his prime, he is still an active fighter. So a good name to have in your resume. Keyshawn defeated Petraza via TKO in their fight. But Keyshawn's most recent win was against Miguel Madueno, who he defeated via unanimous decision. Madueno, a very good fighter in the division, and I think was a good matchup for us to be able to see where Keyshawn actually belonged amongst the fighters in the division. But he's to have his toughest test yet. After that win against Medueno, is going to be facing none other than Gustavo Lemos next, as I've already mentioned. So Gustavo Lemos, he like I've said, he has given Richardson Hitchins the toughest test of his career so far. He has in that fight with Hitchins, he actually rocked Hitchins and had him holding on for dear life several times in that fight. I think he literally sapped the energy out of Hitchins with his relentless forward moving attacks, always coming forward. Although at a 7-inch deficit, arm's reach, was able to cut off the distance and the ring quite well against Richardson, who is quite lengthy and a mover in the division. He likes to utilize the ring very well, and uses his footwork to move around the ring to be able to set up attacks, and also to have him in advantageous positions, and of course to evade attacks. So that was Gustavo Lemos's fight, his last fight, which was with Richardson Hitchins. Gustavo Lemos is 28 years old, has had 29 good wins on his record, 19 of those wins coming via KO. Has one loss, of course, to Richardson, and has no draws. So I think also for Keyshawn Davis, although styles do make fights, this might also be another hard test for him, judging by the way Lemos performed against Richardson. So for Keyshawn, this might actually be a hard test. Also, he would have to deal with the same things Richardson dealt with. The punch volume, constant, relentless forward movement in his attacks, his ability to be able to cut off the ring and close the distance on fighters that obviously have a longer range and arm reach than he does. And he packs a lot of power. I mean, 19 KOs in 29 fights. I believe that's approaching, if not over, the 70% ratio in terms of KO to fight ratio. So yeah. However, I do believe in Keyshawn Davis's skills, if not better than that of Richardson's, maybe equaling. So this fight would be able to tell us how Keyshawn Davis and Richardson might fare against each other, as they would now have a common opponent in Lemos. But interesting also, on the undercard of this fight, we have Brian Norman, WBO welterweight champion, and he's going to be facing Derrick Cueva, I believe. Yeah, Derrick Cueva. And this has come into place after talks of Brian Norman and IBF champion at welterweight Jerome Ennis facing one another had broken down after they were unable to come to any fruitful agreement in negotiations. I believe it was over Brian Norman's team not accepting the money offered to them, as they had thought it was maybe a low offer. So they will be facing Derrick Cueva next. Not a really big threat to Brian Norman at all. I mean, Cueva has competed across North and Latin America and throughout his 10-year career, but has no real notable names on his record. Cueva, who is at the moment 27 wins, 19 KOs, 1 draw, and 1 loss. It seems to have a bit of power though, with 19 KOs out of 27 wins, but still has no real notable names on his record. And I believe, yeah, after Brian Norman being able to beat a very dangerous fighter in Giovanni Santillan, I mean, and he beat him via TKO also. I believe it was a KO. Yeah, he beat him via KO. And Santillan is a very, very good and dangerous fighter, guys. So for him to be able to walk through Santillan the way he did, Brian Norman, I'm talking about, I'm sure, you know, Derrick Cueva would not be any problem at all. And if he's the fighter that he's touted to be, the fighter that he rates himself to be, then this should be an easy fight also. Well, at least an easier fight than Giovanni Santillan. As for Jerome Boots Ennis, he will be facing his mandatory in Chukadzian, Karen Chukadzian. And this is because nobody in the division is willing to fight Jerome Ennis at the moment. We have Brian Norman has turned down a fight offer against Ennis. And Mantis Stanionis has turned down a fight offer against Ennis. And also Marios Barrios turned down an offer against Ennis. Of course, who at the moment is signed to Eddie Hearn and the Zone. So they have no choice at the moment but to face their mandatory order in Karen Chukadzian, who he has already fought and beaten before already. So this would be interesting to see. But they do have other choices, you know. At the moment, they're considering whether to take the fight with Chukadzian or drop their IBF title to face, other fights that may be available to them at 154. So another option would be to leave welterweight and go up to super welterweight or junior middleweight, whichever one you would like to see it as. Yeah, so those are the options available to Jerome Boots Ennis at the moment. But I believe he would stick to welterweight and fight is mandatory and just take it from there. See what goes on in that camp. So with that said, that's it from me on today's boxing talk, or should I say this round of boxing talk. And I'll see you next time on Body and Mind Sports with more latest and greatest boxing news. For now, make sure you like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below so that we know that you're interacting with what we are building here. And that's it from me, guys. For now, stay very, very blessed, and I'll see you next time.